And welcome everyone to Nintendo at Gamescom 2018, coming to you from Gamescom here in Cologne, Germany, and welcome to the Nintendo RedCube. I'm joined by some friendly faces from Blizzard. It's Pete and Matthew. Hey guys.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good to have you here.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Are you guys excited?
So excited.
Because I am, and I know Filippo is as well.
Definitely.
Filippo from Nintendo of Europe is here as well. We are huge Blizzard and Diablo fanboys, so we are super excited about what's coming now.
From one fanboy to another fanboy,
right?
We're also huge Nintendo fans. So
because
really great to be
we
here.
are talking about Diablo III Eternal Collection. Yep. Diablo is going portable. How cool is that?
It's awesome. Like, it's an old school LAN party wrapped up into a new mobile platform. You know, Diablo 2 was a game that was all about LAN, was all about your friends, and the Switch, you know, brings that to a new medium in an exciting new way, and we couldn't be happier to pair Diablo with it.
Yeah, and Filippo is already playing, so should we just dive in?
Yes, I'm just now in the main hub in New Tristram, which is one of the initial quest hubs, one of the initial cities that you find in the game. And I mean, Diablo is such an iconic series of games. I think it invented that genre on its own. I just wanted to give a few of the basics for our fans that might not know the franchise. So
I think we need to.
Yes.
Right? Because especially for the Switch, I guess there will be a lot of new Nintendo and Diablo fans.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're super excited to be offering this deep, immersive world for the first time to hopefully a new set of players from Nintendo. This game begins with a rich story. You'll play through the campaign. You'll come to know Sanctuary. It's a pretty traditional story of good versus evil, very Mario versus
Bowser, for example.
And Ganon versus Link. Like this is that type of quintessential good versus evil. You play a Nephilim, who's kind of a marriage of good and evil, of a demon and an angel. So you have these amazing powers. You're a kind of a god on the battlefield. And what is cool about the campaign is you will slowly build up, right? Yeah. You unlock one ability at a time. We teach you how to play the game, and then by the end of it, you have this arsenal of amazing equipment and powers, and you know we'll see later. But, you'll go through powerfully and just have a great time getting loot, because that's the other big thing about this game. There's loot explosions, always great gear, and the cool part is the gear will change how you play. Some gear will encourage you to use different abilities, so there's a lot of replayability there.
Yeah, so just to again give some of the basic premise, Diablo is obviously an action RPG in which you can play up to 7 different classes, 2 of which were added later after the initial release of the game.
Yeah. Correct.
And you have a lot of abilities that consume resources. Each class uses a different type of resource. So you have ability to generate resources, like the one I'm doing now, which is a basic attack with A, and ability that instead consume that, which are usually more powerful and more flashy, like this giant meteorite that they just made appear on the ground.
The abilities that consume the resources tend to be the most powerful, so then you use something else to build it up. So it's kind of a natural progression of building up and waiting for that big moment when the big monsters in front of you, or there's a lot of them, and spending your energy.
And we have to say that we are already high level right now.
Yes, I mean, I have a super decked out character at the moment, so I'm probably, for people that are familiar with Diablo, they're actually wondering what I'm doing in the initial area of the game with this character.
Don't get for something nice.
I just wanted to explain some of the basics. Actually, something that we can also maybe talk about is a little bit the fact that I am actually not playing the story mode right now.
Right.
So maybe you can tell us a bit of the difference. I'm playing now in adventure mode. What can you explain viewers what it is?
Yeah, so adventure mode is a game mode that we actually introduced in Reaper of Souls. So it brings to the players both Nephilim Rifts and Bounties. So Bounties are a collection of quests that you actually can do as a player, single player or up to 4 players, where you go through each act, and after you kill those, after you complete all those quests, you actually get a loot chest, right? A cache with some epic loot, right? So you have some unique legendary items in there that you can only get from Bounties, and you also get crafting mats and stuff like that. And then the Nephilim Rifts is really the end game of Diablo. So it's a timed dungeon that you run through. Once you beat the time, there's a Nephilim Rift Guardian that spawns, which is a little bit harder than the other, demons that are in there. Once you slain that, there's a good loot explosion, like Pete said earlier. And that's where you get your levels. That's where you get your loot. And,
the campaign's brilliant and it's exciting, but as Matt was saying with endgame content, there needs to be a reason to show up every day and play it, and show up every season and play the game, which we can talk about seasons, but the rifts and the adventure mode really are what that replayability is. And as Matt was saying, especially with the time rifts and this mobile platform, it's brilliant for that 15-minute train ride where you can power through, have a fun challenge, get in, get out, pick it up later.
I mean, especially Diablo is the kind of game where you can level up your character from level 1 to 70, but at level 70 you don't stop growing your character.
Oh no,
that's like really you open up a whole realm of possibilities.
That's just when the game
Speaking
starts.
of which, I just entered the Nephilim Rift, which is a randomized dungeon, right? It's with great loot. So our objective now will be to fill that bar that is on the left of the screen to 100%. Whenever I kill some enemies, some special enemies, they drop some orbs that will fill that bar. When that bar fills up, we spawn the boss.
Correct. Yep.
And for that I will start alone. And actually I wanted to point out one thing for people that are familiar with the PC version of the game. I can roll, which is something that, of course, if you've only seen the PC version of the game, it's quite new as a feature.
Yeah, so we added that with the console version of the game. It's a good way to maybe get yourself out of some trouble or roll into it, whatever you choose. And there's those of us who just like to roll through town, confusing the villagers,
like me.
having fun.
a bit like Link sometimes does actually in the game, just rolling through an entire area. Yes. Cool. So what I wanted to showcase now, now of course you see there are a lot of enemies on screen. Fortunately, the character I have is a crusader, so he's a bit of a tanky character.
Tanky.
He's quite tough, and he can withstand a lot of hits. Fortunately, for the purpose of this demonstration that I'm doing. One thing that I wanted to talk about, of course, is the versatility of the Switch version, because this is not just simply Diablo on Switch, but it's really Diablo in 1,000 different ways.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, as excited as we are about going directly into adventure mode and unlocking that ability if you're a returning player, I think the real fun here is that if you're on the go and your friend forgot their Switch, you can tear off the Joy-Cons, put up the kickstand, and both sit there and play together. And if you've got Nintendo's online services, you can even cloud load your buddy's characters and play there. He can keep his progress. So if you can imagine a configuration, as we'll display in this room, we've made sure to unlock it.
So good.
That's actually, I was really surprised the first time when I saw it happening. It's like just how you can just mix and match everything. And why actually don't we showcase that?
Sure.
I think we can start joining. Matthew will join me on my console. So you see we have another user. Choose your character, and there we go. Instantly, we are playing in 2-player multiplayer. And Matthew, you're a necromancer.
Yep. So I'm a necromancer. So necromancer is one of the classes that I personally thematically love from the Diablo 2.
Trying to kill your minions.
Yeah, I know, right? Sorry, from Diablo 2. So Skeletal Mages I have right now. I have some my command skeletons ability.
Basically, if you see on screen, is followed by so many minions. Of course, a necromancer, a good necromancer, is always summoning up dead bodies to help him in battle. Of course.
And do you look fancy, man? That looks so cool.
I try.
I mean, also, how your character looks, I think, is a pretty important part of this game. Like, there are amazing sets of armors that have been designed with a lot of care, if I can say so.
Right.
And it's really cool to make your character look like a proper badass.
Or Ganon, maybe.
Maybe.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so one of our, as I was saying earlier on, we're huge fanboys. When the Switch came out, we were all playing it. We were all playing Zelda. And when this opportunity arose to bring Diablo over, we immediately were like, we have to do tie-ins.
Nice.
And Ganon is the big bad, right? So this is a game that celebrates other big bads with Diablo, you know, the Lord of Terror, and the other greater evils. And we just said, all right, what would be the best character to be? It's got to be Ganon. So we actually give you essentially a set of gear that you can put on top of your gear for players that aren't familiar with the transmog system, so that no matter what your gear is, you can make it look like Ganon and run through the universe as Ganon. Yeah.
And actually now we are around 20% of the Rift, and we are moving pretty fast because you can sometimes pick up orbs and other items that temporarily make you stronger. Something that I find also quite cool in dungeons in Diablo 3 is that you can find traps. So sometimes, you know, there's a wall that's propped up with some beams. You destroy the beams, and every enemy that's underneath it would well, meet a horrible death. And there's actually quite a lot of things that dynamically change the way you play in a dungeon.
Yeah. And as you're destroying more items, you're getting faster. As you chain a lot of kills together, you get a multiplier for your experience. It's all about kind of that frenetic pace and encouraging you to push harder, push faster.
True. It's actually one good way to start maybe introducing seasons could be the fact that you see now when we're killing so many creatures, we have this experience like this counter that keeps counting up, and if we keep killing creatures without stopping, this goes up, and we get an experience multiplier. This is especially important when you're playing adventure mode and seasons, especially because in seasons you start, well, maybe explain what seasons are.
Yeah, sure. So every few months we roll a new season, and what that really is a bunch of people getting together and seeing how quickly they can level. There's usually some cool gear you can unlock, some season incentives basically. And recently we've started theme seasons. So we had the Season of Greed last season, where you'd get double goblins. And for those of you that are new to the franchise, goblins have a sack over their back that's full of good stuff. They're essentially a moving treasure chest. So you've got to chase them down, put them down, loot explosion. So last season with the doubles, you know, they would go in opposite directions. It's a panic to try to get them both. Just, you know, just good fun.
Yeah. I have actually quite vivid memories of trying to chase them and teleport is opening. Let's get him before he teleports, or like chase the other one. It was quite hectic.
And maybe we should also talk about loot in general, because I remember on PC I wasn't the quickest one, so I wasn't really able to get all the good loot.
Yeah. One of those points of contention with Diablo 2 was that loot dropped for the entire party. Whoever could click it fastest then had that loot. And if they were just random people, maybe they didn't want to share. With this, the loot is specific to you, and it's important to you. It matters to you. It's upgrades. Part of the excitement with a lot of items is that they're unidentified, so you have to identify them. And what's it going to be? You know, it's you're opening a present.
Yes. You do get the feeling, especially with the sound effects accompanying, etc. It does feel like a surprise present. So now we are at 86% of this rift. So the boss will probably spawn very soon. And I think one thing we can do to showcase again the versatility of the Switch version of the game is have Pete and Tim join us, but instead of joining us on our console, they will join on their own handheld console, and you will see that they will, at the touch of a button, immediately get in our game.
Yeah, so utilizing the awesome technology inside of this device, it just sees that there's other devices available playing this game, and you just select who you want to join on, which is you in this case.
So good.
A few moments later, we're gonna load in.
We're all in, and the boss is just spawned.
One other cool thing to point out: each time a new player enters, it gets more difficult. So the monsters get more health, they do more damage. This isn't just like, hey, I'm bringing people in for easy mode. Like it actually gets more challenging.
Yeah, it's not just easy mode.
And there's your loot explosion.
And those are the things that make Diablo players happy. All of those orange names out there and yellow ones. the items are color-coded by their level of quality. Actually, something that I also wanted to say after this is the user interface. For people that are used to the PC version, of course, this is quite different. And I find it really nice how you have all the information you need at the bottom of the screen at a quick glance, in my case on the left. And something that I found while playing this version is that because you don't mouse over and you don't have the tooltips, it keeps me more focused on the action actually, which I am a bit obsessive with items. I have to check everything immediately. So with this function, I feel like much more like into the action.
And one other, sorry.
No, I was going to say, I just mentioned the fast equip. This is one of the great things. So you don't actually have to go into the menu and check everything out. You can actually fast equip right here, and it'll do items and skills and runes and everything to customize your character from there.
Yeah, so you can, at the touch of a button, choose to trash an item or just like immediately equip and keep going forward.
Exactly.
And then one of the other really powerful things, if we're joining switches together, is I can be in my menu system and you can still be hacking and slashing and having a great time. You don't need to wait for me.
Correct.
Like actually, if you move, maybe you can see on the background, some of the characters are actually still moving. You can see a little bit on the background while I am free to look at all the fat loot that I just got, while the other people are saving. That works out really well. It's true. I wanted to also talk a little bit about more of these exclusive tie-in Switch, Nintendo Switch items. We've talked about it. You introduced the Ganondorf transmogrification set, but there are also a few other items. I think we have a small image. One thing that we have shown also in our demo is that you have like a portrait, your portrait with a Triforce symbol on it, to again like to have the Zelda inspiration. And there is also a Cuckoo Pet, which are like one of my favorite creatures from the Zelda world.
Definitely like growing up, one of my first Easter eggs, I think, in the game, you know, picking on the chickens in town and them ganging up and coming back. So we were super excited to take that pet and make it part of the universe with it.
That's really cool. I mean, Diablo and many other Blizzard games have a history of companion pets, so like it's good that the Cuckoo is also part of them. There is also another item that is exclusive to the Switch version, which is not a Zelda item, but it's like these wings
set of wings.
Yes, the wings that Matthew was using during his demo. So there is quite a lot of new things, quite a lot of exciting things, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So one last question for me: did you like talk to a few Nintendo fans yet and ask them what they think about having Diablo III Eternal Collection on Switch?
Yeah. So one of our best moments was actually getting to Gamescom. We were boarding the plane and just waiting in queue, and next to us a couple was talking about like, hey, I need more reasons to play my Switch, and they're like, well, Diablo's coming.
Haven't you
so
heard?
We're going to be playing it all the time. And Matt and I were just like,
we're just like,
let's do this. So
they didn't know we worked for Blizzard. They don't know anything. We're just like,
random great moment.
That was awesome.
And seeing all the excited fans out here just huddled over their Switches, having a good time. It's great.
I can relate to that. So guys, it was really great having you here. Thank you so much for showing us Diablo III Eternal Collection.
Thank you.
I'm super psyched about it, and as we were just playing right now, I really want to play again on Switch. Like, it's been a while on PC, and now I can like relive all these great adventures with my friends together. It was super easy to join in to you guys, so thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful time here at Gamescom, and I hope you guys have a wonderful time with our next show. Maybe you guys have a message to the fans out there?
Sure, So whether you're new to Sanctuary or returning, there's so much great content on here. This medium of Switch is so amazing for it. So we hope to see you either online or off soon.
Perfect. So guys, once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you again in the next Nintendo RedCube video. See you. Bye-bye from Gamescom Cologne.